Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
Hey, it's Dan, and you're back in the No Comfort Zone. So if you're new to the podcast, here's what's going on. I'm a guy about 15 years ago. I would think I was on top of the world. Everything was going my way. And then through a lot of things I wasn't paying attention to, I use the analogy as a frog in a pot of water. Things just started to kind of warm up a little bit. I got more and more comfortable. I got comfortable with my job, with my marriage. I got comfortable with my finances. I started taking everything for granted, partied a little bit too much, celebrating a little bit too often, turned into a massive addiction, divorce, health issues, financial issues, overextended in every way you could possibly imagine. On the outside, it looked like things were going great, but inside I was killing myself. So I eventually tried to. And what ended up happening from there is I was in a coma, lost my speech for a moment, lost my ability to walk for a moment, went to the VA because I'm a former Marine and I was able to use my benefits there. They put me all back together after about, 5 years worth of therapy, 6 months in a hospital, figured my way back, laid low for about a year, got myself back on top. Another 10 years go by, I get comfortable again, and I realize that I'm overweight. I'm not as happy as I should be. And with 30 years of personal development, being a retail sales guy, being a manager, being a sales and management trainer, and also being a motivational speaker, as easy for me to say, I ended up getting paid pretty well, really well, lived in Vegas, traveled all over the United States, speaking to audiences about sales, salesmanship, and believe it or not, dealing with adversity. Then when everything hit, I just took everything for granted again. For 10 years, I was in a coma, not literally, but figuratively. I just was on cruise control. And I woke up one day, and I woke up hard, and it scared the shit out of me. And what I decided to do was immediately run in place because I was terrified that I was going to be average for the rest of my life. And I think I was 47 when that happened. I'm currently 50 right now, quit my job, walked away from the job that I absolutely hated, didn't like working with the people every day. The culture was not what I was used to. I just got to a point where I was tired. There's some good people there, don't get me wrong, but I just got tired with the culture and got tired of working with those people. So I had to move on. And while I moved on, I took a big risk, got involved in speaking again, got involved in training, began writing the book for the 10th time or so in the last 10 years. And here we are today. So now I have a podcast, and I hopefully use my adversity and your adversity to get you out of your comfort zone, because that's what I was in, a comfort zone. And I realized that I wasn't living my life. So I decided to make this podcast to promote that you can have adversity, whether you're going in it, you're in the middle of it, or you're just getting out of it. You can use those lessons, and you can actually wake up and start living the life that you really always wanted to, because there's such valuable lessons in there. And that's what we talk about. So what I did is once I decided to wake up, I ran in place. I journaled. I got to the point where I made the decisions I made, and what was my reasoning behind it. What were other people's expectations was what was killing me. And then I realized that if I want to change anything, I have to identify why I got where I was at. I decided what I wanted in life, and I went after it with massive action. In about 2 months, I lost just under 30 pounds, changed my finances completely, walked away from a very stressful, non-passionate job that I was doing, which people would say I was pretty successful at, I think. And I had, why would anybody want to do that? Why would you want to walk and mic drop out? And I did. And it's one of the best things I ever did, because I risked it all. I really did risk it all, but I risked it all because I knew at the end of 60 days, I knew who I was. And that's what this podcast is about. Who are you and what are you made of? So today's topic is this. It's not about, this is if you're new. So today's topic is about this. If you want to blow up, if you want to be that to everybody, if you really want to be that problem solver, if you really want to be successful for yourself and for other people, you're going to have to go inward. And the inward is the scary part, because that's where you find out what you're made of. See, when you go inward, you don't have to listen to anybody tell you to get up early. You have to do it yourself on your own because you know it's the right thing to do, even when you don't have to. But if you're listening to this podcast, you might find out that it's something that you have to do. You have an obsession to be disciplined. I believe that men long for that. I believe that men of good character and work ethic enjoy the grind and discipline. It sounds like Coach Lombardi, doesn't it? But I really do believe that the true grit of a man, the passion, the character, those ethics of a man we want to be disciplined. We need to have discipline. We need to have work. And when you put those challenges on yourself, you have to almost ask yourself, why were you cursed with this obsession to want to be more successful than you are? That's the problem. We want to be more successful in our head, but we don't ever, after we go inward and think about what's the ideal and what do we want and what we have to do something. We have to take action. And that action is where everyone misses the step, to go from your head, get out of your head, to actually get it on paper, to taking the action or getting it out of your head and actually doing something, taking that step in the right direction. The hardest thing you need to do when it comes to running, this is the hardest thing. The hardest thing is to get to the starting line. Get to the starting line when it says go. When that gun goes off, you just need to go. And then put one foot in front of the other and do it as long as you can, as fast as you can. You know, and sometimes you got to go inward there too and think about, why are you doing this? Because it's so easy to quit. It's so easy to drop off. It's so easy to say, I can just be average because life's good. But it is at that point when you want to quit and you keep pushing yourself, no matter what it is in your life, whether it's getting up early, whether it's working longer at work, whether it's getting to work early, anything that you think of, whatever it is, you just have to push yourself a little bit more. And that's what I do. I help people get out of their comfort zone by pushing them just a little bit to use the fuel of your past failures as the fuel towards the success, towards your goals. And that's what it is. The same ideals that you use to go after your goals, the same ethics are exactly the same that you use when it comes to problem solving and get out of your own way and getting out of those problems that you have that are wonderful gifts or opportunity, if that makes any sense whatsoever. As you know, I drive to and from work and I do my podcast in my car. I edit it when I get home. I try to put the intro and outro together. It's been a great experience. I can do them pretty quick. I've got about 30 to go into the can, as they say in the movie biz, which is what I would be doing if I didn't have a full-time job or help people get out of their comfort zones and live on purpose. I would love to be on the movie scene, the business of movies. But I digress. So by doing this podcast to and from work, I see some pretty cool things while I'm driving. And today I'm running late actually. A couple things happened. A lot of construction, tons of construction where I'm at, going from Rockford to Crystal Lake. So if I pick up a little bit of time here, I'll be okay. Craziest thing though, I'm driving the speed limit. There's no other cars around me. And there's a bunch of construction workers standing on the side. I would say 10 of them. And I am driving a very beautiful 740 BMW. It's a really beautiful car. Driving it because it was just turned in and I'm checking it out, and I love to drive it, but I'm checking it out just to make sure that the car's all tip top for the next owner. And I drive it for about 2 hours, listen for any noises, any creaks, anything that, can happen with the car. So I can say it's been Dan driven. And then I have the conviction I need to sell it because I can say I've driven the car, I know what's up with it, and I'm very transparent. And I try to make the cars right so I can get all of the money for them because that's what people want, value, and they don't want problems. Everyone's looking for a deal in life. Everyone is looking for a deal. And that deal sometimes is just finding a car that's got no issues. And that's what this one's going to be. It's going to be a certified BMW. It sounds like I'm trying to sell you a car, but I'm not. As a general manager of the BMW dealership, a Mazda dealership, and a Volkswagen dealership, I think this is the stuff that actually works, that does the best for the business, is getting into the entry level and knowing what's going on at this level, rather than being like executive management where you're watching things from afar or from a financial statement. So I'm in it, and hopefully I will sell this car to somebody. But these guys look at me on the side of the road, and what they're doing is they check me out and they kind of give me a look because I am driving an expensive car. I don't live in an expensive neighborhood, and I get the look like kind of like a nose up kind of a thing. And I know it. I experience it because when I drive my daughter's car, I drive other cars, I don't get that look. So I got the look. All right. So now I realize that I'm in a bunch of construction traffic and they're doing the stop and go sign, stop because of one lane. That traffic's going to be let through, then I'm going to get let through, So what's really cool is I'm like, oh no, it's my turn to stop and I'm the first car. The guy turns it around because it just so happens there's no traffic oncoming. He turns it around, and the guy, like he's getting ready to seat me at the orchestra, puts his hand out and lays it out in this fashion, this very elaborate fashion, and said, "This is your lane, sir." Why am I bringing this up? Is because I'm not in the best mood because I'm running a little bit behind and I have to make up time and there's traffic. But the crazy part, this is the crazy part, that guy's gesture, that alone can turn your day around. Just cool to see. The guy works for the Illinois Department of Transportation. He's on the roadway. He's going to be in the hot sun all day, flipping a sign back and forth. And he goes through the enthusiasm, the excitement, the energy, the engagement, like we talk in the blueprint. And he actually goes into this elaborate pose to let me know that I can go into my lane now. I don't know about you, but that's just pretty cool. What if you did that today? What if after you go inward and you realize what drama, chaos, and everything, you spend about maybe 1% to 10% of your energy and time thinking about that, what's going on today? What if, just what if, then you take 90% and you act as if, you're the servant to the world. You act as if you're taking care of everybody. You act as if this life and this place that you live in, it's your party and everyone is your guest. And you're here to make sure that they have a great time. And you're confident, you have conviction, you have certainty, you've got the energy, the excitement, the enthusiasm, the engagement. You have all of these things to make it a wonderful party. And you just are on top of the world. And everyone is there to celebrate at your party. What if that's the kind of day that you had today? What if that's the day? What if you acted as if that was the day today? Because, hey, I'm just going to say this, and I say it again when I close every podcast, is seriously, instead of just being a punchline, what if you got out of your comfort zone, applied the 4 E's, applied the 3 C's, and you actually had the 3 C's, and took action to design the best day ever? How would that look? You know what it would look like? It would look like it was time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at No Comfort Zone 1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.